Miss T.
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 Can't wait for you to meet Miss T. She is the T in tea.
All right, so you're back in the office with me, Sweet Tea, and I wanted to share something really neat with you. Okay, so first of all, I do have a mission in doing all of this. So my mission is to help people discover their greatness and live the fullness of their potential. I've been doing this for as long as I can remember, and my hope and my prayer is that I can do that for you. So right now you're sitting in my office, and I might have mentioned once or 17 times because I'm ultra excited about it, that I had the great privilege of buying a 44,000 square foot facility that houses so many programs that help our young people, young adults, and the families in multiple different communities. But it started as a dream. The reason I have you in the office with me today is because I wanted to show you a couple of really cool things that keep me motivated and inspired, especially as it pertains to building and dreaming and serving. So when I first walked the building, I was in Atlanta, and I did some work with another organization in the community that I actually told myself I will never work with them again because it was such a challenging experience. And so anyhow, I'm in Atlanta, and I get this phone call from someone that I would call a friend, and she says, "Hey, T, you got to come and look at this building." And I'm like, I'm scouting other sites, and sure, okay, maybe sometime. And she's like, no, you got to come and look at this building. She's having dinner with an associate, and they're talking about how the county of Sacramento used to have their youth recidivism program in this building, and once kids got out of the juvenile hall, they would come to this place, and they would, be able to, learn some job skills, do all their testing and different things like that. And so, I kind of learned that as I was doing the tour, but I'm sharing that with you now. So anyhow, she's just insistent that I come and take a look at this building. So as soon as I get off the plane coming back to California from Atlanta, I come straight to the building, and we're doing the walkthrough, and she's showing me things, but there's a bunch of other people now coming to look at it too, right? And so they only show me one side of it, like 1/3 of it, and I'm thinking, okay, I could do something in here. I could do some programs in here, right? But I'm walking through the place, and I'm thinking, it's so clinical. Like it's like prison. It's really like prison. There's bulletproof glass everywhere, and emergency buttons and alarms and things like that. And they said they did some sort of youth programming there, and I'm like, this is not conducive for youth at all. Like everything about this says jail. And so anyways, that was my assessment at first glance. But then I said, well, let me see the rest of it. And so they show me the rest of it, right? And then they were talking to other people as they're touring me, and so I just kind of step back and be quiet, and I get my little, my poker face on, and I'm just like, he's kind of, absorbing now, and I'm letting all the other people ask all the questions. And then I just kind of hang out till I'm the last one there. And, the lady who reached out to me says, so what do you think? I said, I'm examining the different people, and I'm like, there's no way they're going to be able to lease this place. They wanted us to lease it. And I'm like, the next place I occupy, I want ownership. I want to own it because I've leased buildings before, I've leased rooms before, I've leased studios before. And, someone can take it away from you once they change their mind or something weird happens. So I've had that. And I don't do well when the kids are like displaced. I don't like it when we're doing program in a community and then the kids have no place to go because we can't renew the lease. So I just promised myself I wouldn't do that again to them. So any place that we occupy, I said I have to own it. And so anyhow, she says, that's exactly what I was hoping you would say. And then she says, we can parcel it off and you can get this, part of it, and then they can do whatever they're doing on the other side. I said, no, you don't understand. If I occupy this, I want to own the whole thing. Now, the moment I said that, I didn't even have the money in the bank. But I'm just saying, I'm saying if it's my time to have the building, I want all of it. I'm not being greedy, but I want all of it. And she says, okay, well, let me see what I can do. It was a big ask. And let me see what I can do. So she becomes the intermediary between me and the building owner. And it turns out it's like a collection of 4 different buildings that take up an entire city block. And I didn't even realize I didn't even realize that before I was out here taking a quantum leap with my words. And so anyway, she becomes the negotiator between the two of us. And it's a very kind older gentleman. He's looking to, retire, and I don't know that he was wanting to sell the whole thing. But he definitely wanted someone to lease, the portion of it that was doing the youth programs before. And so anyhow, I was insistent. I'm not entertaining the idea unless we own the block. And so we go back and forth for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months. And then all of a sudden, these other potential buyers start. And so the owner now is asking around town, asking civic leaders and city council members and people in business. And he's asking about me, right? This is why it's so important to maintain a good reputation, because now he's asking people in leadership about me. And guess what? They have nothing but great things to say about T. Woohoo! But it took me 25 years to make that reputation. So make sure you're kind to everyone. That's important. Okay, so anyhow, and do a really good job to serve. Whatever you can do to be a change agent in your community, do a really, really, really good job to serve, whether someone's paying you or not, because that was important. That was an important factor in all of this. And so anyhow, they didn't say anything but good words. And I kind of felt like once he was getting the good positive feedback about me and my program back, I think that kind of gave him the release he was looking for to let the building go to someone that would do the right thing in the community with it. And then I didn't know that there were so many other projects attached to this one thing. So it turns out there's a bunch of, revitalization work that's supposed to happen in the community that the building's in. But because there wasn't anything in the scope of this work that was community servicing, it just kind of made it all look like gentrification work, which some cities are kind of frowning on right now. Our organization is community servicing, and we would occupy this building in this specific locale. Then that released all this other great work that could be done to kind of lift the community and change the standard and make it look nicer. So I didn't know I was a linchpin in all this other, construction and stuff, but I was. And so anyhow, the previous owner agreed to sell the building to me. And we went back and forth, trying to find the right lender, trying to find the right partners, trying to build the resources. It was a lot of work, and it was a lot of stressful work. But, I knew why I was doing what I was doing, and it was worth the work, because then the organization would own its own home, and then our young people would never be displaced. And so I was willing to do that fight in order for that to happen. So fast forward to January, on my birthday, I turned 50 years old and signed the paperwork. Is that picture up there? Signed the paperwork that made us owners of the building we're in. Now, the reason I'm telling you this whole story is to, number one, just, share something fun with you that I think is remarkable that we get to say that we've accomplished, but because of this desk I'm sitting at. So remember, I told you when I first toured the building, it was very clinical, and it looked like jail. And all I kept seeing was this glass. And one of the first things that I said when we did the tour is I said, I want the glass. And they were saying, well, what do you need it for? Whatever. I just said, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take down all this bulletproof glass. And I want to do something different with it. And they said, oh, but sometimes people act this way, sometimes I said, number one, I'm not afraid of these kids. That's number one. Number two, they're not afraid of me. I love them, and they know that. And so we don't need this kind of stuff separating us or protecting us from them. I don't need protection from them. They need this kind of personal touch, loving touch, nurturing touch. And so this suggests that we want them to continue to be in prison, and I don't want that. So, I told them that I'm going to take this glass and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to help them use it to create the lives they want, rather than condemn them for the lives that they've led that got them into trouble, that required them to be in an atmosphere that had this kind of element in it for protective reasons. And so I took the glass, and with the help of, my team, we built it into, creative tables and workstations. And so now the very thing that was permeating the building to condemn we're now using to create. And it's cool things like that that you'll see all over, my headquarters. We work with, a lot of kids that come from challenge. But I don't think that we need to remind them of how bad they've been. I think we need to help them with how stellar they can become if somebody believes in them and sees their greatness and help them see their greatness. So I just thought it was a neat thing to share with you. This is my bulletproof glass table that has become the, foundation, mechanism that helps me build everything that we're doing in the next 20 years. So there's that. And then I wanted to also share another little piece part, and that's my shells. Okay. So every now and again, I get to pause. And one of the things that I like to do the most, and I'll just tell you as an entrepreneur, that's not a normal thing. I do work a lot. I work a lot. And if you're looking to build something and be impactful in a way, it's going to require you to work harder than you've ever worked. You cannot be afraid of hard work. But every now and again, I get to go and visit with my friends on the East Coast in Martha's Vineyard, and I harvest seashells from the Atlantic Ocean. It's one of my absolute favorite things to do, and it's peaceful. I know most people like to go in the summer. I like to go when it's freezing cold because that's when all the stuff pushes up on the shore, and so I have just a fun time. I guess I feel like a kid. I grew up very fast at a young age, and so I have to allow myself to do things that have a childlikeness to them, because I really didn't do that growing up. I had to grow up very, very fast to survive, to provide for my family, and but this is one of the things that I get to do. So I put reminders here. You see him in my pictures. That's my mentor, my coach for 17 years. It's been 2 years that he's transitioned to heaven. But I try really hard to live everything that he's taught me, that he's invested in me. So it's a constant reminder that, that someone helped me, and so I can help other people. This was a rendering of me on the cover of a Forbes magazine that I created when I came back from a missions trip in Italy. And I got the vision. It was like a vivid dream that you wake up from, but you feel like you lived it. And so I did that. And then maybe 6 years after that, I ended up on a Forbes list. And so I keep that as a reminder that I'm on the list, but I'm not on the cover yet. So I still have a ways to go, but I'm almost there. So there's that. And these are my babies when they were babies. They're always an inspiration to me. And these are my kiddos that I work with. Just, again, constant reminders of my why around me. And then that's my super grands. My grands make me grand, so they like to garden, so I like to garden with them. And then I have this. I'm always in the air, but it's a happy place. It's a happy place for me. I get my best work done on airplanes. I get my best ideas most often on airplanes. So I just remind myself that sometimes I got to get in the sky and allow the bigger things to download from a higher altitude. So I do that. But back to my shells. Okay, so in this jar is just some. I have so many of these. And then I have some that are like rare. And I went like, so one year, last year, there was like a storm. And most people were like, gotta get shelter, gotta get out of here, not coming here, get away from the East Coast, hurricanes and all that other kind of stuff, right? Well, one of the marvelous things that happened is all this stuff was pushed out of the sea because the waters were so tumultuous. And so I was able to get some very, very rare finds. But again, I'm sharing this because I'm just giving you a small glimpse into who I am and what I do. And isn't this lovely? You know what these make me think? They make me think of a dancer. And I think that's why I like them so much. And I think also why I like this so much is because it starts from something so small and becomes something so big. It starts from like a pebble. And so it reminds me that I started small and I still have bigger to go, but you can build anything if you just get started, no matter how small you are. And so these remind me of that. It also reminds me of how beautiful things are. It makes me pause and kind of look at the world around me a little bit better. Because again, when you're in the thick of things, you're looking at deadlines, you're looking at reports, you're looking at payroll. I'm always looking at the money. You're looking at budgets. Always looking at the money stuff. And sometimes it's okay to not look at those things and just kind of focus on the natural beauty of the world around you. And so I'm getting better at that. I used to be really, really bad at that, like really, really bad, until I started having a staff and watching my kids work themselves unconscious. And then I said, goodness, I taught them that, and that's not really the culture and the lifestyle I want for them to have. That's the one I had, but I had to work really hard, and I still have to work really hard to change that. But anyhow, I keep my seashells to remind me to enjoy the simple things, the easy things, the free things that God and nature gives us. And so anyways, and they're just fun to look at. And I have lots and lots of these, but these are the ones that I chose to bring to my office. So anyhow, I can go on and on and on about, everything that I have in here, everything that, I'm building forward. But again, the ultimate goal with doing things like this is to, number one, give you a snapshot into who I am, and so that I can hopefully get to know who you are, and also to encourage you that you can live the life of your dreams. I am sitting in what was once a dream that became a goal, and now it is my reality. And I invite you to continue to watch this stuff, to take notes off of this stuff, to ask questions around this stuff, and to like, to share, to subscribe, to leave a comment. I know that this is not for everybody, but I know it's for a lot of somebodies. And if you're one of those lot of somebodies, make sure that you're letting me know that. We really, really, really are trying to produce content that is helpful, and we just want to be helpful. Again, my mission is to help people realize, discover their greatness, and to tap into the depth of potential that is already in you so that you can live the life that you dream about. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for looking around my little office for me. Thank you for hearing my story, and thank you for being a dream come true for me. I'll see you soon.